Hello, my lovely anatomists and physiologists. Let's look again at our nephron, and you can help me trace our way through this. So, of course, we begin with the blood moves into the afferent arteriole into the glomerulus, which is the capillary bed in Bowman's capsule. I should make that a different color so we can see it more easily. From there, we see the push of fluid, nutrients, electrolytes, just almost indiscriminately, based just on size, into the capsule. That's our filtrate. From there, we called it tubular fluid, moving into the proximal convoluted tubule. We said the job of the proximal convoluted tubule is to do obligatory water reabsorption, about 67%. We're seeing conservation of nutrients, like 99.9% of nutrients, vitamins, and so forth are reabsorbed, and a whole ton of those electrolytes as well. From there, the fluid moves down into the descending loop of Henle and then up the ascending loop of Henle. And we said at the descending limb, you're going to have the remaining obligatory water reabsorption. So that's about 15%. And then on the ascending limb, we're going to have reabsorption of electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, and chloride. So then we move into our DCT, which is our distal convoluted tubule. And here we had facultative water reabsorption. We saw some hormones playing a role here in helping to regulate our calcium levels, helping to regulate our fluid levels and sodium levels in terms of both ADH and aldosterone. And now we're ready to move into the collecting duct. And so the collecting duct, this is when we are going to call our fluid urine. And we see that multiple DCT, distal convoluted tubules, are feeding into this collecting duct. And when we talk about the job of our collecting duct, we'll see the job of our collecting duct is again facultative water reabsorption. And so the facultative is talking about that remaining 10 to 15% of water can be reabsorbed when under the control of the hormone vasopressin, or ADH, which stands for, remember, antidiuretic hormone. We said, remember, that the cells have these, we called them aquaporin channels. Here it's labeled as a water channel. It's talking about the same thing. So this is a special protein that can be embedded into the cell membrane to actually facilitate or make it easier for water reabsorption to occur. And so we see that's what ADH does. ADH tells the cells, stick those water channels in the phospholipid bilayer, and you reabsorb water, and that's producing a very small volume of concentrated urine, right? And then if you don't have ADH, then you don't get those water channels, and so that water just becomes part of the urine, and then you get a large quantity of dilute urine. So that is the difference there. When we talk about the collecting duct, we also see what else did I want to say here? We also see aldosterone can work here to increase sodium ion reabsorption. And again, the significance, y'all, is where sodium goes, water follows. So if you put more sodium into the interstitial fluid, that's going to more effectively pull water into the fluid. And ultimately that water moves into the bloodstream and you're increasing your blood volume and your blood pressure. So that's an important relationship we've talked about before, and we'll talk about that again. So we'll also then see some reabsorption here of bicarbonate ion We'll see some reabsorption of urea. And then let's go back and say, when we talk about reabsorption of the bicarbonate ion, we'll see that's happening when our pH is low. And when our pH is high, then we're going to reabsorb hydrogen ion. So we can really say here help to regulate the pH of body fluids. We can also then say regulate. So let's say regulate pH. Let's say regulate urine volume. And let's say regulate osmolarity. So when we talk about the collecting duct, it's important in helping to regulate the pH. It's important in helping to regulate urine volume. It's important in helping to regulate osmolarity. We will see again that the fluid here is called urine, and from here it's moving into the papillary duct. All right. So that actually completes us in our discussion of like how urine is being formed and what's happening at each section of the nephron. So up next, we're ready to look at regulation. So stay tuned. And as always, take care of yourselves and each other.